program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
To the Cindy Cochran Show, downtown, beautiful downtown Conroe and the Conroe Tower. And we're so happy that you've joined us. And I just have a little bad news. There's bad news and there's good news. The bad news is that Eric Dimmer, who I had promoted, is not going to be able to be here. He called and he is having some medical issues. And so he said we'll just have to reschedule. He wants to be here. He wants to share his new CD with everybody. Oh man, I heard a cut from it. It was amazing. And that guy can blow the horn and the saxophone. I think the saxophone is one of the sexiest instruments myself. And so when he plays something soft and bluesy and all that, it's amazing. And he's played with everybody, like I said, from B.B. King to Eric Clapton. He said he got most blown away by Eric Clapton, being able to play with him because he was just phenomenal. But so many people, every time they hear him play, he's offered, a gig to come in and record with someone. He's recorded with everybody. And it's just that he loves playing jazz, but he'll play everything, anything. And he's amazing. So I can't wait for you to meet him in person and have his CD. We'll do a cut from it whenever he comes back on. So anyway, so that was the bad news. But the good news is you have Richard and I, and it's just going to be a free-for-all. It's not free-for-all, but it's just going to be fun. I don't know where the idea came from that Richard and I argue a lot, but when we start talking on the air, he gets kind of belligerent. He gets kind of, opinionated, where he's such a sweetheart. He's so calm and just a real nice guy. But that mic in front of his face just turns him into somebody different. I don't truly get it. But anyway, Richard, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm here. I can't believe I'm here. I got here just like 1 minute ago. I know, Richard. I missed the turn to go into the downtown, down underground parking. And when you do that, you're going to have to drive about 5 more minutes because you have to go down and get. There's so many one-ways in Conroe. And when I turned on Phillips, I'm thinking, and I got far over to the left lane to get on West Davis, I thought, wait a minute, am I in a one-way and I'm on the wrong side? And then I see a truck coming on the other, and I go, oh, please turn light so I can go ahead and get out of here. I did. I missed the truck, so it was fine. But I spent the morning in the ER with Samuel. And Samuel had ridden do you know what these, like they're real little miniature motorbikes, okay. Gasoline.
Yeah.
And he was on one of those. Now, he doesn't know how to ride a bike. He never wanted to learn. Cindy learned faster, and I don't know what it was, but he just didn't want to learn how to ride a bike. And everybody that had ridden a bike was riding this little thing and did fine. But he got on it and he ate it the first time he fell. And he got right back up, and he says, I'll be okay. So he got on it again, and he went down on his face, his shoulder, and his leg, and this drug, because he held the gas down, and so he drug himself. It was so sad. I mean, we all said, we'll laugh about this later. He hasn't laughed yet, but it was really traumatic. And so we were checking him all out and seeing, is this broken or is this okay? It looks okay. You look okay. You look fine. I think you're going to be okay. And then he lifted his pant leg, and he had a deep gash in the thigh, top of the thigh, and the rest of it was just had blood on it, and that scared him. But so, Sam and Chad, my oldest son, is going, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. You're doing really good. You're not complaining. You're going to be fine. It's just everybody gets these things, but it didn't look like that. It looked like it'd been drugged through, 45 on a bad wreck. And so, but Sam and Chad kept, saying, "No, nothing to cry about. You're good. You're fine. You're doing real good and all." So we went through that, and he said he doesn't need to go to the doctor. He's going to be fine. Everybody gets these things. And I said, but you know how ugly that looked? That looked horrible. His friends at school, he went to school, and he was just going to, walk slow and all that. He went to school, and all his friends took pictures of his leg. And so I said, well, were you charging him money or anything? He said, no, I just let him take the picture. And it kept getting worse, and it kept looking worse. Every day it looked worse. And I kept telling Sam, I said, look at this thing. This is, somebody would take us to, what's the court that you miss? Child protective. Yeah, that's what I thought we would be picked up for. But anyway, so
we'll probably show up here in a couple of days now.
Yeah.
The story.
Now that we
tell
us.
Picture, let's show it people. Let's
sit here.
Yeah, email it to me. I'll show it to them.
No, he said, "Do you want me to email it to you?" I went, "No, I don't want to email it. I'm looking at it every day." But so anyway, I finally took him to the ER without anybody knowing about it, because everybody was saying, you don't have to take him. Now Samantha wanted me to take him. She said she was scared to death that something was really wrong. His aunt called and kept saying, it could be infected. Take him. And so I started getting pressure from that. And I thought, let's just go and find out what the deal is. And so we went in, and they took x-rays, and the doctor came back and said, well, he does have, and you're just holding your breath and they start that stuff. He does have a large hematoma right on the top of his thigh, and it's just packed with blood. That's why it's so swollen. But the body will take care of that. The body will absorb that blood. It's going to take maybe a month to get that blood back in the system. And I thought, oh boy, that's such great news. And then he says, but I could drain it. But draining it would just cause it maybe to get infected. And a lot of people get infected that way. So I just let the body take care of itself. So we did. And the other thing that he had was a virus. He's sneezing, his throat's sore and all that. And they're thinking, I just knew they were going to try and check him for COVID. But he said, no, it's a viral thing. It's going around. It'll be fine. It's nothing that antibiotics can take care of. So he's going to be fine. I was so glad, because I had been in that same ER just 6 days before that. And I was hoping there'd be nobody in there, the doctors or anything, that would recognize me. But I had to go in and admit that I'd fallen flat on my face. Well, it was my side, on the porch, on the cement, and hit my head. Twisted my wrist, and hit my ribs, and there was no bruising. They did the CAT scan, they did all the X-rays and all that, and I really believe that fat takes over and really cushions any of those kind of falls. So when you get older, you naturally gain weight. A lot of people do, and then that way when they fall. But see, I've been falling since I was 20. I'm the clumsiest person in the world. And when I would be on sets and I was directing, the production guys would make sure that I was going to be where I was going to be and not walking around before they set the lights up, because I always took a light down at most of the shoots. And then I would fall. And I fell a lot during my 20s or 30s. And everybody said, well, it's because you're old. That's why you fall. That's why you fell, because you're old. It's just that I wasn't paying attention. I thought I got up on the step of the porch, but didn't make it, and my body fell. Anyway, but I didn't recognize anybody, and they didn't remember me. But they did really well. It's the Chai St. Luke's ER center, emergency center, right there by the Grand and some other office buildings. But that place is good, and it's not real crowded. They just reopened again. They had closed down for COVID and stuff like that, so I thought they'd never come back. But they're back, and they're staffed, and it's great. And it's really not a long waiting line at all. And I'm just so thankful that God spared me. So he left me with was sore ribs, and I can't laugh, or somebody, don't make me laugh, Richard, don't tell anything funny. He won't. But it's like, oh great, now I'm going to go to church Sunday, and you know what everybody does at church, they want to hug and stuff, and so I was having to say, I can't hug you. And now I'm going to my 55th high school reunion this weekend. Like Friday, I go to this thing. And I don't know what's going to happen, because I hadn't seen these people in like 6 years. I think it's about 6 years I haven't seen them. So I'm going to go, and it's going to be terrible because I can't hug anybody. But I just can't wait to see everybody. And we always reminisce. And what's great about light dementia is that you've forgotten what you talked about 5 years ago. And so we just bring up all the stories, and they're great again. I love it. So that's what I've got going for me. Richard, what's happening with you? Just if you say nothing. What's going on with you?
Nothing.
Richard, you see, I called her. I said, okay, so Eric's not going to be there. What do you want to do? You want to go to it, and we'll talk about all kind of subject matters and all. And he said, yeah, I'm ready. Come on, yeah. I thought for sure you'd say, we'll just cancel. I'll play another show, and don't worry about it. But you didn't. He wanted me to come up here and make me miserable, so it's fine.
Well, I was hoping you'd bring me food.
I almost did, but I left.
Yeah.
So I was at the ER, and they don't serve anything at the ER, except. So I'm sorry. I would have.
That's too bad.
I would have brought you Subway.
Yeah.
Like the one I made. I put everything on that, Richard. The last time I brought him a Subway.
Yeah.
He was so nice to me.
Yeah.
And that's what you need, is just the food. I used to bring you sweets, though. I used to bring like really junk food. Right?
That's because you always had it
in my car.
In your horse bag.
Yeah, this is like
Horse feed bag.
Here,
like,
you can
this sweet little spaghetti. I got
what you want, spaghetti? Yeah.
Drink Diet Dr. Pepper here. I don't really know. I just found this one at the gas station.
You know, that's what's so bad about these reunions, is that people just go crazy. They know that a reunion's coming, so they just stop eating. It's not like, I'm not going to eat anymore. I'm going to just, so I can look really good.
Well, it's nice to know that at your 50th, is it 50th?
55th.
55th, people are still trying to look good.
Yeah. But I
Right?
didn't, yeah, probably. But I just don't care. I really don't care. I have a big IDC factor, because I go like, Cindy, you probably should quit eating like all the time. And that would probably help you not, make you look better. So, but I just decided I'm going to be fat and happy. I think that's.
So where's the reunion? Where is it?
I'm not going to say.
Because I imagine once you get to your 55th, you don't need like giant gymnasiums or anything to host all the people. It's like, we can fit everybody at.
The crowd
McDonald's. We all meet at.
The crowd's
Chick-fil-A.
kind of thinned out.
Yeah.
Because they're like 70, so 5 or something like that. So the crowd's thinned out. But she told me, she gave me the list of everybody who was going to be there, and it's all the people that that I ran around with, and it was like,
No one's dead.
No one's dead unless they,
Because I imagine the conversations held at the reunion, like really, like for the first hour are downers. Because you're like, oh, you didn't know? Yeah, Thomas. Yeah, he fell off a horse and he's dead. It's like, oh, I miss Thomas. That sucks. And it's like,
I remember well, it was a lot of, I remember when, but I think that the funniest thing is the dancing that goes on. I mean, they're all doing the old dances. I mean,
Yeah.
at the 50th, everybody was doing
how
the old
often
dances.
do people dance every year? I mean, as
Yeah.
you get older, it's lower and lower and lower and lower.
Well, we had two guys there that, I mean, they were like Arthur Murray kind of guys. They have been through all the dancing. They do all the line dancing. They go
Yeah.
every day, every
You don't go
night.
to Johnny B. Dalton's regularly, Cindy?
Johnny B. Dalton's. That's where those guys went.
Yeah, you don't go there?
No,
I don't even know if it's open.
it's where Goodyear. Do you remember Goodyear Blimp
Yeah.
in front of the Daltons? And Lowe's Theater is over there. I went to the Lowe's Theater a lot, but I never went to Johnny B. Dalton's. I never did that.
Yeah.
But I don't dance like that. I don't know how to dance. Sam was a great whip dancer. The whip was a big dance in the 50s.
Well, he's also a
60s.
musician, so I imagine he was around it a lot.
In what?
Around it. He was a musician, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
he probably was around dancing a lot.
Yes,
Center.
and he was a good dancer.
Yeah.
And he was
And you had signing with Cindy where you're dancing. I've seen it.
yeah. But
I
it's
mean, would you call that dancing? I don't know. Just moving.
no, it was choreographed. I mean, we had a choreographer that said, "Okay, Cindy." After he saw me dance, he went, "All you're going to have to do is move back and forth, and we'll do all the dancing behind you. It'll be great. It'll be fine." That's not very nice. Have you gotten the Johnny Carson thing ready for me yet?
Yeah, Cindy, because you sent it to me already.
It's in the YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube has a lot of videos, Cindy.
No, I mean it's in the it's in the Cindy Cochran show.
Well, you have to send that to me, Cindy.
It's there. I don't have to send it to you. You can just find it yourself. You want me to? Do you want me to edit it?
I want you just to send it to me.
Okay.
I don't know. There's a lot of videos on YouTube.
But it says Cindy Cochran on Johnny Carson. That's the name of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So if you'll do that, because I asked Richard, it's so cool.
I mean, do you really want to use that? Because I'm pretty sure he's gonna get canceled in a year or two. All the dark secrets about Johnny Carson.
No.
Frank Sinatra parties, the gambling,
What dark
the
secrets?
naked dancing. Can you believe that?
You know, there's a lot of Russian narrative that goes around that people believe.
You like the Russian narrative?
Yeah, that was really good. Don't believe. Oh, I'm sorry.
Fine.
Don't believe everything that you hear from Richard's mouth. He likes to stir the pot. He likes to bring up outrageous things and then see if I'll believe it. Because I believe in Richard. I believe when he tells me something, it's truth. He's been my fact checker all this time. And have you ever anything that I've said not been the correct fact? No, but you check when I say something, don't you?
You
put
say something ridiculous.
he Googles it immediately and says, "Okay."
What other conspiracy theories have you been watching on Fox News? Tell me about that. Anything good? What's going on in the fake news world?
Well, the guy in Pennsylvania that looks like the guy from Addams Family. I don't know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, do you watch the news?
No.
Okay. All right. In Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz is running against.
Okay, yeah, the man who had a stroke or
Yeah, the hoodie
sick.
guy.
I don't really know what he's.
Yeah, he had stroke,
Okay,
and he wears a hoodie all the time, and
nothing wrong with that. It's
and he
cold up
has
there.
a bald head, but he just has. It's an odd look, but I mean it's okay. But
Oh, have you seen Dr. Oz?
no, but
He's
Dr.
kind of odd looking too.
No, he's nice, a slick guy. All the women just loved him when he was on TV. They just, that poor guy had all these women just.
Is he still a doctor? Like, is his license?
I don't know. Well, I don't think he's practicing. He's campaigning is what he's doing very hard, and this guy has wanted to let the criminals go. He's that kind of guy,
Like it.
and he also the abortion thing is like, let the baby be born if they want, and then they can get rid of it. Whatever they want to do, it's okay with him. It's, the things he has said has been so outrageous, and so it doesn't seem like it's a hard person to run against. But he's saying that Dr. Oz is mocking the fact that he had a stroke, and he doesn't want to debate because it's hard for him to put sentences together and all of that.
Uphill battle, man.
Well, but people.
But why do you care? You don't live there.
But it interests
why
me.
Why are you highlighting on this? This is a silly thing to really worry about.
Because this is on the news. It's on the news a lot about the.
I figured you'd be talking about Beto.
I'm getting there. I'm working my way up there.
I haven't seen anything from him recently.
He's doing a lot of stuff.
I hope he is.
He's doing.
Talk about uphill battle for that guy.
The polls say. Do you believe in the polls?
How do we know? No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't even know how those things are conducted because since there's not really a lot of landlines,
right?
So it's like, how do they get the numbers?
Like,
because that's how they used to do it. Where
right.
It's,
I remember talking to him, and
now today you don't ever give your phone number out. Most people don't just like, yeah, I'll call me anytime.
But here's what
random people.
But here's what people have said.
So they're polling people who already know what they're going to poll. But
No. They ask them, or they ask them, and then the people hang up when they ask who you vote for. They hang up. So a lot of the conservative people are not saying who they're vote. They don't want to say who they're going to vote for.
I think it goes both ways.
No?
I think it goes both ways.
You think so?
Yeah,
you think the Democrats?
I think a normal person would not answer phones like, oh, because right when they introduce themselves, they're like, nope.
Yeah.
Like, this has nothing to do with me.
Right. I tell them, I'll call you back. What's your number? And they'll never give it to me. So
that's why I don't believe in polls. Like, I just don't think that stuff.
I don't think, I really don't either. I mean, unless they're saying like, okay, this person said they're going to vote for Beto. So that means there must be at least, 2-3 million more that will do the same thing. So we'll just give him that. I can't believe anybody would vote for someone that says, I'm going to defund the police. Doesn't that scare you when people think like that?
I mean, we have our own guns here, so it's not really that scary.
Well, I mean, our street is totally well protected because we have a former FBI guy, a former two policemen that were on there, and then one that worked that did all the stuff with the computers, crime.
Because in reality, I feel like if he was elected in office, he would be under scrutiny all the time because majority of Texas is Republican. So it's just like, really, what kind of change does he really want to bring as governor? He wants
to come get your guns.
Yeah,
and he
says, again, like as I'm saying, like it's not like he's going to have a good support system if he doesn't get elected. So it's like
no. If he stays in Austin on that one street, it may be okay, and he'll be fine. But I think that's what killed me. I didn't know that Austin had gone so liberal. I didn't know that was.
Always been like that.
So Austin has always been like that.
Yeah.
I guess because the governor's always been Republican, so I thought, okay, it's got to be Republican. But to have somebody say, I'm going to defund the police and we're going to go after your guns, and the kids are going to have to wear a mask again, or whatever he starts saying.
Yeah.
And
I do remember him saying that the gun thing, and I thought that was really interesting because I was like,
we're coming to get you.
I don't think this is the first state you should start with, man. Like, maybe you should go for another state that.
Right. That's what I mean.
That program hasn't been proven at all. I think I was reading. I don't know if you remember this, but in Houston, I wanted to say like half a year ago, not too long ago, they did a buyback plan for weapons.
Yes.
And today, I think it's today or yesterday, Turner's office said the next buyback program, we're not going to buy any ghost guns. And a ghost gun is a term for weapons or firearms that were built in your house.
I thought it was from the internet.
No, you can just because anyone can build a gun if you have the right tools.
Mm-hmm.
So they won't buy those back, but it's mainly because I think is that man made 3D printed guns, made like 50 of them, and sold them to them. But I mean,
this couple went and bought these boxes for storage and stuff. They got it from when you have the store and they have all army surplus store.
Yeah.
They went and bought these big boxes, and when they got them home and they opened them up, they were full of the 15
AR-15s.
AR-15s. Full. They were full of it, and they couldn't believe they had. These people didn't realize they didn't give them empty boxes. They're full of AR-15s. So they called. They were going to sell them, and then they found out they couldn't sell them. So they called the federales and told them to come get the guns. And they're trying to find out how that actually happened. That they would have this at some army surplus store, and people could come buy these, thinking that they're getting storage boxes. So I think that in Texas, of all places to try and talk about you're going to take our guns, and all it does is cause everybody to go out and get more guns and go, buy up the guns. And then how many people are taking lessons to be carriers, to be able to carry the gun?
You can carry anywhere.
Well, that's
You don't need a license to carry.
Sure, you have to have a license to
I
carry?
don't think in Texas you can open carry without a license now.
Well, I mean, I know that the rifle, you can put a rifle in the back of your truck and you're okay. Nobody's going to say anything to you about it. But if you have a concealed weapon, I thought you had to be permitted for that.
I don't think so.
Okay, will you look it up, please? He's going to look it up. GUN. So anyway, while he's looking that up, it is amazing to me.
Yeah, it says in September 1st, 2021 in Texas, most people over 21 or over can carry a handgun in a holster without a permit, both openly or concealed.
Wow. See, that just happened. So that's what I didn't know about. But that's awesome. I think that's great. Why don't they give that? Let teachers do that?
I don't think you can have a firearm on certain areas.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So there you
I'm
go.
the one that believes that you need to arm the teachers. And I know a lot of people think that's stupid, but I think they should go through training.
I mean, when you see Red Dawn, the opening of Red Dawn, you think, why aren't we arming our teachers?
Oh, that's right. Boy, that is right. You're out up your
I
alley.
mean, if we're going for it, I don't know. I mean, because I think it depends on where you are, though. I mean, I feel like in Texas, and especially in rural areas in Texas, like it wouldn't surprise me that if you go to the parking lot, there's probably a handful of guns somewhere around there. But no one ever knows because they don't bring them in. But
Well, what I found out that at church, there was a lot of guys there. There were officers and stuff, and plain clothes, and they would, they had a gun with them. I loved that. I thought that was good because they were having people come up to the stage and shoot people. This one guy came in one time, and I always sit in the back
church
with
do you go
all
to?
the kids. Huh?
what church do you go to?
Listen, let me tell you what happened. This guy comes in and he walks in and he's disheveled and you should never judge. You're not supposed to judge anybody by the way they dress or
Sure.
look. But this guy comes in, he has a backpack on. And most people don't come to church with a backpack. But he walks in with a backpack and goes right up and sits on the first row.
Okay.
And that was strange because nobody sits there. And so I looked over and I saw two of the officers that were sitting there. They'd already seen him and they watched him. And they got up and went down and just sat down behind him.
Yeah.
And so I got my kids.
Probably
and
some homeless guy.
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. But everybody saw when those officers got up and sat down, and they leaned over and said, "Hey, man, so happy to have you here," and all that.
That's
And
when you have an open door policy at churches.
oh,
They
should we have?
You should have ID access for everybody.
I told him. I said, "What
Everyone
y'all?"
has to scan in so we know who's coming to church.
Yeah.
And then it should also scan when you donate money so they know who is not donating money.
Yes, yeah, really, because they can write you letters. But I thought they should pat everybody down, or have something there as you walk through. They have someone like the airport, watching your skeleton walk through, and make sure there's no guns or anything like that, because you never know. I mean, I think God does a lot of protecting and stuff, but he says, don't be stupid. And,
Yeah, but you're also talking about church. I mean, not a lot of people go there for the intent of hurting people. I mean, I know some crazies out there, but
yeah,
it's
I mean,
it's not like an airport or something where it makes sense to have that kind of security.
but I think they start with the schools.
Maybe at McDonald's they need to have it too. McDonald's are pretty well.
Oh, my
Walmart,
word.
Number one, yeah, everyone should get
Did you
patted
see-
down going into Walmart.
That would be great. Oh, that would be like a lot of those people would be like the first time they had human touch. They would be so happy to be that. My cousin said that one time. They're
You know how depressing
patting
that
down.
has to be, though? Is like, every time you go to a place, you have to be patted down. Like, that's not something that regularly happens to me. Like, I remember one time I want to say the court here, and somebody wanted me to drop something off, like they forgot it in the studio, and it was like a judge or something, and I was like, okay, I'll just come to your office, I'll just drop it off down the street. And I remember walking in, and I didn't even think about it. I just walked in, and I went to the metal detector, and then I pulled out, because I have a pocket knife. And, like, the guy started reading me the riot act, and he's like, you're not supposed to bring this on. I'm like, man, it wasn't my intention. It's just a pocket knife. And he's like, well, you got to get rid of that. I'm like, what do you mean get rid of it? And he's like,
throw it away?
I was like, what? So I went outside, and I threw it under a bush. I was
Came back
coming
and got
back and getting this. And I
Was it there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I mean, I was inside for, 5 minutes? Because he wouldn't even, I go, hey, do you want to take it to him? And then he's like, oh, no, I have to stay here. I'm like, oh, this is crazy, all right. I mean,
Oh.
but they don't know who I am. I look like trouble. I look homeless.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
Was your hair long then?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm looking at
But I
videos.
don't usually go to those places every day.
Well,
So,
sure.
I mean, it's common sense now that I'd be like, all right, if I go into a building that has something with the government, I'd be like, I need to, burn off my fingerprints and wear a mask
And wear a mask.
so they
That's
can't ID me, wear a hoodie.
Yeah, and especially the black ones where
Yeah.
it shadows you and you can't see the face with recognition. I think it's funny when we first started wearing masks. Where you had to wear a mask. I had gloves and a mask and the whole thing, and I mean I felt really stupid. But I always wanted to wear a mask when I was a little kid, and like here I am, I get to wear a mask, and I thought this is so weird. I look like somebody's going to go in and rob the place. But of course, you go in and they take all your money, so it's not right. But I think everybody, and this one guy was a big guy. He looked like Huffy, and he had a mask on that was like a little kid's mask. And he looked at me and went, I know I look stupid, don't I? I look stupid, right? And I went, well, no, I mean, we got to wear a mask. And did you get that from your kid or what? He goes, what, is this not you mean they're different sizes? And I went, yeah, you can get an adult mask. And he goes, and he said, I can go to the bathroom and take this mask off. I got to get another mask. But I didn't mean to shame him. I'm sorry, but it looked really weird. And I know everybody was, and he felt stupid in it because it had his ears this way.
I'm curious to see what happens if we do have another thing go on in this country where they go, hey, you got to put your masks back on. I wonder how that's going to go over.
It's not going over well because I went into a place, this doctor's office, and she said, do you have a mask? And I went, no, I haven't worn a mask in a long time. And she goes, well, you've got to wear it in here. Sorry. And I went, well, do you have one I can borrow? And they went, yeah, just a second. And so she handed me the mask.
Yeah.
And she said, you don't have to bring it back. Thank you. But that's what's so cool is that if you don't, I mean, if they're going to make you wear a mask, they know what they're going to run into, so they have the mask there for you. That's how I think they're handling it. But you haven't been anywhere where you had. I know you don't go anywhere where you have to wear a mask anymore. Did you wear a mask in here?
No.
You didn't?
No.
During the pandemic, you didn't? Did you make the people that came in wear a mask?
Can't hear them.
That is so great.
But I mean, it's just because we couldn't hear them.
You couldn't understand them.
Yeah.
Well, That's what I thought whenever
Yeah.
they
And
had
that's why Zoom was so great during that time because
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, you're going to come in here? I don't care."
Right. Yeah, that's true. But Samuel's school, the
I never
choir.
ran into any issues. I mean, I think the only time I really ran into an issue was we went to Austin, and we went to this, which was ironic to me. It was one of my buddies, like a friend of theirs, had some art thing, museum deal, and we went, and it was interactive, but you had to wear a mask, but everyone's touching everything.
They're touching everything and
Yeah,
they
it's one
wear
of
a
those
mask.
it's one of those like kind of art studio things, but it's like interactive.
Okay.
And I was like, it's really weird wearing a mask, but you're touching everything. And
Yeah.
okay,
Were they touching you?
no, but it's just funny to me. It's like they were really adamant about us wearing masks, but we're touching all the exhibits. And it was, yeah,
That makes
it's one of those
sense.
things.
That's just it just doesn't make sense, and they just better not
But I
do
don't
that
care. I
again.
don't really care.
Well, they found out it didn't work. It wasn't
I wouldn't
it
worry
wasn't
about it.
working. I'm not going anymore. I'm not
I
going to
wouldn't
worry about
judge
them
any-
anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Wouldn't judge anybody that wears a mask now. I mean, they might have an ugly face.
Oh, they hadn't
And you
shaved
should
or
thank them.
yeah.
Like, thank you for wearing a mask. And
Yeah,
they'll be like,
sure.
oh, yeah, because to hide your ugly face.
Yeah,
Don't want to see that.
but you got beautiful eyes, and then
Yeah.
they take the mask down, and they're really jacked up or something. It didn't.
Doesn't matter anymore.
But I did find out that this kid had a great answer to why he broke up with his girlfriend. He said, "Who can afford to have a girlfriend now? I can't pay for a ticket to the show. I can't do anything because it's too
Sounds like
expensive
he's not
now."
working hard enough.
No, this is like a 13, 14-year-old. And you know when they say at that age now they say, "I want to date you,"
Did they ever think about sneaking in?
sneaking in the show.
Yeah.
Having one person go and open the
Yeah.
door and just pay for one person. No, people don't. No, they shouldn't be doing that. They need to do it. I would get so mad when I was working at the Eastwood Theater. My grandmother was the manager, and I got to be the usher. And I was so excited to be the usher. I was only like 12 or 13, and she let me be the usher, and I had the flashlight. So you'd walk down the aisle, and if anybody had their feet on the seat, you had to flash the flashlight and make them put their feet down. And if they were making out, you had to tell them, stop doing that, and flash light on them. And I was just a little kid, and these are all big teenagers that
So you watched them for a while, and then you told them because you were trying to get some pointers?
after 30 minutes, I said, okay, no, I went down. The first time I got to, turn the light on, somebody had their feet on the seat, and I said, get your seat off that feet right now. And after I walked down, I went, no, I said that backwards, didn't I? Yes, I did. And I'm sure they were still laughing, and I didn't turn around and look at them. But that's but I was working at 12 years old, so that was good. And I was being paid 75 cents a day. 75 cents a day. And my mom was driving me there, and she said, I'm going to have to charge you for gas. And I went, how can you charge your kid for gas? I'm only making 75 cents a day, and you're going to charge me for part of my... She said, well, yeah, you got to learn how to, pay your way. Now, back in the 1960s, it was like maybe 25 cents for the gas. But it was...
Yeah, and it had lead in it.
Oh, it did. Yes, that's right. That's right. They used to have gas wars that nobody understands now, because they used to put out these signs, and they go 25, and they
Yeah, I
mark it
remember
through. You remember that?
Yeah, I
You
remember. I
you
want to
must
say
have
it was in Houston. They had like a gas station put it up for like 3 cents, and it was like crazy. Like people would be waiting in line for an hour to pump their gas. But I don't know. I mean, whatever.
Was that during 77 when
This was like
Carter
in the 90s.
in the 90s?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to have seen that. That was, because they had big
Now we're all going to
chalkboards.
get electric cars, so we're okay. I saw the new Ford Lightning. It looks really cool.
65,000. How much was
I
it?
think it's like the base model is like 40 in the 40s. That's like the base model.
Well, I heard the base model of the electric cars were 60 and
No,
60,000.
Well, the new the general car manufacturers are now making them, so prices are gonna come down for whatever. But I think it was 40. But again, you probably have to wait 2 years to get it. So it'll probably really be like 55, 60 by the time
Well, Gavin Newsom's got California locked up. What
It's
they're
pretty
going to
cool
do?
though. I was looking at it. I was like, man, that truck's really neat. Like it's a neat car. I mean, if you're not towing anything, it's really neat.
Or you don't know where all the stations are to charge it up.
I mean, Cindy, how far are you driving every day?
I drive here 3
I mean,
days
you probably
a week.
drive what, 200 miles a
lot.
week?
I drive a lot. I take the kids to school and back, and then I come here and back, and then I have to go to the grocery store and back.
Yeah, see, you're not.
It's
going
like
that
a
far.
5 mile,
Yeah.
maybe a 5 mile
Going that
radius. But I don't go downtown or anything like that. So you're right. I don't drive that much, but it seems like I'm in the car all the time and having to fill up all the time. And now that the gas is coming back up, and everybody's like,
Well, I don't
what
think it has
happened?
anything to do with gas. I mean, it's just electric cars are cool. They're fast.
They're fast?
Oh, they're the
They're not
fastest.
faster.
Yeah, they're the fastest car on the street.
Really?
Yeah.
But aren't you running down your battery when you do that?
Yeah, but you're not running out of juice in like 20 minutes. I mean, it all depends on where you're going that day.
That would scare me to death to try, go like, okay, I'm going to go drive to Lubbock and
Well,
see
it's
my
just a
sister.
new way of thinking about it.
But we don't have the infrastructure for that, I don't think.
Yeah, but you don't. Most people have more than one car in a family.
Mm-hmm.
So one car would be electric for their day to day, and the other. Because imagine never having to go to the gas station. Like it's out of your life.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't even think about it. They'd be like, "Oh, I haven't been to a gas station in like 10 years." But then again, like, where do I get my lottery tickets? But
When you tell your, well, if they had a hybrid, like I remember
Yeah,
people
but-
getting hybrids. What was wrong with
I think they're
hybrids?
pretty cool. I think they're still there. But
So-
I think that truck's really cool though.
Are you
I want
gonna
to
get one?
Yeah, I was like, man, I can save up for 2 years and get one of those. That'd be tight. Because it has its trunk in the front, so they call it a frunk.
A frunk.
Because it doesn't have an engine.
That's
So
right.
The front of the F-150 is just one giant storage thing.
Well, if you think that's cool, then you can get an old Volkswagen, and there was nothing in the front. The engine was in the back.
Yeah. Like I think it has a bigger frunk space than a Corolla.
Then a Corolla?
It's bigger than a trunk in a Corolla. That's how big that frunk is.
That's a pretty big
Yeah,
front.
that's what I'm saying. It's a cool car, and like I think if they were even saying that if you get the high capacity, you can actually it comes with a 220 volt, so you can actually power your house. If your house loses power, it has a converter on it, and you just plug it into.
You use it as a generator?
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That is amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Like to me, you add more practical uses of an electric car, then it's like it makes it valuable to.
But it
certain
drains 4 times the electricity from the grid.
I think they said it. If you fully charge that truck, you could power most homes for 3 days.
If you powered that truck.
No, if you. Like,
I mean, if you had the batteries in that truck.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a neat option to have in a house. I think what the big struggle is going to be with electric vehicles is it's similar the model of like the iPhone model where eventually it's going to run down and there's no way to repair it. It's like, no, you just got to buy a new battery, which is, a flat $20K.
Well,
I'm talking like, cause like usually in cars today, like internal combustion cars, you can pay a little bit to keep it maintaining, but eventually you're gonna have to pay the big ticket price, but you can still maintain it and still use your vehicle.
Right.
But the problem with electric vehicles, it's like, oh, there's really no maintenance to it besides the standard wear and tear. But then it's like when your battery's gone, yeah, there's nothing you can do. It's like I think Tesla's response is even just turn it in and buy a new one, which is nuts to me. So like the used
Turn the whole car in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess the used market's going to be all over the place because you don't know how long that battery's going to last when you're buying a used Tesla or used.
Oh,
Ford
man.
Lightning.
And you're driving in the desert, and all of a
So
sudden
if
it goes.
local mechanics figure out a way to how to like replace cells in the batteries, that's going to be the moneymaker. Because no one's going to have $20K to spend get their car going, but some people might have $1,000, Like, oh, I'm talking about when you take a car and it's like, well,
Yes.
overall it's going to cost you $15,000, but if you want to get your car running today, it's going to cost you, $2,000.
Right.
And eventually you're going to have to do this.
Man,
You can't really say that with electric vehicles. It's like either or nothing, from what I understand.
speaking of cars, I wish I could find some mechanic that would know what is wrong with my Honda. It doesn't seem to affect the driving or any of the.
You just keep hitting curbs or something? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I know what that's from. But when I turn off the car, the car goes. If I can make this sound. It does that for and it's so embarrassing because people that are walking by the car.
Just get over it. People, you have a car. It's
No,
old.
people-
How old is it?
It's
My car makes all the noise. I love it when I'm on
It's
the
like-
phone with people. People think I'm in a factory. 'Cause
But
you just hear
it doesn't
I'm
sound like
"Ah."
it's crying for somebody slit its throat, and people that are walking around the car are looking at me. I'm like, it's the, they're wondering who's crying in the car, and it's pathetic. And so I'm always telling it, it's okay, it's going to be okay. And so I went and got my oil changed, and I told them, I said, could you tell me, you think you might know, because the dealership couldn't, it never did it for the dealership. It's just like a kid taking in the doctor and you tell him it's going to be so bad, and the kid acts fine. But the dealership could not find it, and we drove it and set it up there. I said, y'all need to take more time. It's just embarrassed in front of you. But I did this, and the guy said, well, turn it on, let's see what it does. I turned it on, and it just did a little squeak. It went, and so the guy said, I think it's because, did you have the air conditioner on? And I went, well, yeah. He said, we have to turn the air conditioner off and that probably will take care of it. And I went, oh, that is great. And it worked for a while, but the cry came back. And so it's pitiful. So if anybody out there that knows what a Honda cry is and what that means and how to get rid of it. Huh?
That's what YouTube is for. Just look it up.
You think, how would you look it up? What
Honda
would you
cry
say?
When ignition is off. When we turn off the ignition.
Honda pitiful cry when the ignition's. Well, I don't know, but cars can't go away. I mean, the gas car can't go away. It just can't. It's just, I think that's just a whole stupid thing. Since Gavin Newsom said that by 2035 there would be no electric cars.
I always like those kind of predictions for companies and everything. It's like you have no idea what the next 5 years even is going to be like.
Exactly.
And if it's like, this is our promise.
Yeah,
And then, of course, when the new CEO or whoever comes in, I don't know what that guy was doing. We're not doing that. I mean,
But this is Gavin Newsom, the governor of California.
yeah.
So
I mean,
when
California's-
he goes,
they're going to California stuff. So, but again, it's like, is he going to be governor in 2035 still?
no, he wants to be president. He's running.
Well, yeah,
he's
but
going
I'm
to be
just
running
saying,
for
like,
president.
Because someone there, the clerk or something, is going to be at 2035. Like, oh, we have to do this. Like, we have a year to finish this.
I just don't get their way of thinking. But I mean, he makes everybody feel like you can better start saving right now to buy one of those cars because you're going to have to.
Or drill your own oil and have your own gas refineries.
That's what we need to start doing, is just checking to see if Willis has oil wells.
I mean, it's interesting because you look at, as you get older, you realize how much the local government and even state government and stuff try to control certain things that are like, this is kind of weird. Like the water thing's kind of weird.
Yes.
So it's like certain counties and stuff, like you can't collect your own water. Like I think Houston, like Harris County has that rule. Like you can't put a bucket out and collect water and then water your yard.
Why?
I'm pretty sure it's
Are you
Harris
talking about
County.
rainwater? You
Yeah,
can't collect.
Like you can't have a bucket. Like you're not supposed to do that.
Is it because they're afraid of what's in
I
the
have
rain?
no idea. I mean, I don't know. There's some black market water thing going on. I don't know.
That's
Well, it's similar to here the SJRA. Like I always wondered if someone could explain to me in layman's term the history of the SJRA and how it came to be, because it's every time I hear people coming in, because they come in the studios, they're different sides and all that kind of stuff, and it's like when you hear about other communities paying the fee but they don't even use the water, I'm like, so what really does it do? Like, what's the benefit of it? Because,
Well,
and so
you mean how you use the? I mean, because you're drinking bottled water, you're not going to
no,
drink.
the FGRA, the San Jacinto River Authority here.
Oh yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Do you have to pay a fee where you live? I don't think you do.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really strange. It's like certain areas signed up, but then, like, they don't use it sometimes, and you're paying double your water bill pretty much.
So if they're using the San Jacinto River water, and they want to charge the people who live in the houses using the water a water bill,
You have to have a second fee,
a second water.
from the SGRA. So you're paying, like, I think there's 3 fees, like the normal water bill from, like, say, the city of Conroe or wherever you are, and then there's the groundwater district, and then there's the SGRA. The SGRA fee's gotten so much where it's almost like the same number as like your normal water bill. So if you're paying $120 for water, a lot of people are paying $100 or $240 because of the fee. But my conspiracy theory is it's to pay them off from flooding us because they have the power of the dam over there in the lake. So that's where it's really coming down. You know.
Oh man! Oh, those theories that's coming back.
Well, I just want to know where the money's going because that's a lot of money every
Yeah.
month. And I'm like, I wonder, do they get a percentage? Do they even pay those people? Like, is there actual workers working at the SGRA? Like, what is it? Where is it? What's going? Because I know where it is.
Yeah.
It's on the dam, but it's like, what really is that money going into savings to like keep the dam working? Because I mean, that would suck if that dam stopped working. But it's really interesting.
Well, when I was working at Time Warner, and the guy that worked for me had a lawsuit against the Woodlands because the Woodlands was finding water problems in the water because of the paper mills that had been there a long time ago, and so his child was born with this deformity, and he knew it was because of that, and so he was trying to sue them, and I went. I was living in the Woodlands at that time, and I said, but I don't drink the water. And he says, don't drink the water, don't drink the... And it was like, he just whispered down, don't drink the water, don't drink the water. And I went, like, is that...
I know Will's, I think like once a year, I feel like you guys have a boiling water notice, just for a short period of time.
I've never had one. I've never had a short... Maybe I didn't hear the warning, but I don't know.
Last year you did, because they sent us the press releases for it. And then...
That we had to boil the water?
Certain areas. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm on a septic. I mean, I'm on a well. I'm not septic. I'm on a well.
Next thing you know, you're dead.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because Cindy doesn't know how to work a phone.
No, I don't. And I don't like being on a well.
Well, I want you to tell the audience what's going on tomorrow for your show.
That's what I keep opening my mouth trying to. You talking over me. Listen, everybody, you got to be here tomorrow because talking about the Woodlands, we've got Jason Nelson, who's running for township position number 2, and we want to talk to him, and I'm sure he'll be so happy to hear me talk about this stuff and try and get into. This is in the past. This is in the history. This is George Mitchell time, and so we'll be talking to him. But they've got they feel like they've got this down, and there's a team of them that are running for the township. That they and he's running for re-election. Exactly, he's running for re-election. So they're talking about the future of the Woodlands, and that'll be fun. That's our closest neighbor, and our we don't consider them any kind of we're not battling with anybody there, right? I mean, the Woodlands and Conroe will never be taken over by the Woodlands, right? Or are we going to take over the Woodlands? Is that a controversy? We'll see tomorrow. You got to come back and find out what I'm going to ask because I don't know what I'm talking about. Listen, I'm so happy that you were with us, and we want to say thank you to the first responders. We love you, and God loves you more. Thank you. Go out it's a beautiful day. It was 52 degrees this morning. It's going to be like that all week, so go out, enjoy the day, and call somebody you love. See ya.